A woman named Rachel is facing difficulties with her life after divorcing her husband, Tom. She became an alcoholic, and this made her sometimes lose control of herself. In her daily life after the divorce, she often took the train just to watch other people's lives from behind the window. And in a specific area, there is a married couple who is always the center of her attention. They are Scott and Megan. Rachel likes to wonder about their careers. Is she a painter? Is she a creative? And is he a doctor? Etc. At one point, it is revealed that Rachel is a painter who once lived in the area with Tom. Unfortunately, now her position has been replaced by Anna, Tom's new wife, and now they have a baby. Next, we see Megan talking to her therapist, Dr. Kamal. She shared that her husband told her to become a nanny so that her stress would go away, which made her want to get pregnant. Unfortunately, currently Megan really avoids pregnancy for a reason. One day Megan tells Anna that she will stop being her babysitter. Megan reasoned that there was a gallery offering a job, asking her to start working immediately. After Megan left, Anna remembered the incident that made her scared when she suddenly saw Rachel holding her baby outside the house. A few minutes later, Tom came home from work and Anna asked him to talk to his ex-wife who always disturbed their life through unknown calls. Apart from that, she also told Tom that Megan no longer worked for them. Meanwhile, Rachel is seen entering a shop to buy alcohol. After she returned home, she opened her laptop and contacted Tom while drunk, who was immediately stopped by her friend, Kathy. For 2 years, Kathy had let Rachel live at her house after she divorced Tom because she no longer had a place to go home to. When Rachel lay in bed, she remembered her past where she and Tom tried hard to have baby, but all their efforts were in vain until the doctors couldn't help them. The next day, Rachel is back on the train and she makes eye contact with a strange man when she tries to put on her lipstick. When she looked out the window, she saw Megan with another man, which scared her. She questioned why the woman was ruining her own home life. After the train stops, she goes to buy a bottle of alcohol and then gets drunk in a park, haunted by the memory of when Tom started to betray their marriage for Anna. She then goes to a bar only to complain to a strange woman about the cause of her divorce from Tom. She said that one day she opened her husband's email, where she found a message from a woman who accepted Tom's love. That woman was Anna. After that, she rushed home, but on the way she met a strange man from the train who was following her. Then she ran into the wood to avoid the man, but she stopped when she saw the woman entering the tunnel, thinking that she was Megan. When she chases her, she suddenly faints, then wakes up in her house the next morning without remembering anything, with blood on her clothes. Curious, she immediately looked for information on her cell phone, and she got a voice message from Tom, telling her that Anna was fed up with the stalking she was doing. However, Rachel ignores the voicemail, and she begins to have flashes of memories about last night's events that explain something bad has happened. Rachel then joins Alcoholics Anonymous in an attempt to stop drinking. There, she admitted that she came because she woke up from her sleep covered in blood, but she didn't remember what had happened. After that, she got back on the train, where she saw a woman who reminded her of a party. At that time, Rachel put egg dishes near dessert, and Martha, Tom's boss's wife, didn't like it. Rachel then threw the plate against the wall until it broke, and Tom was so embarrassed by the mess that he immediately asked Rachel to go home. After arriving home, she was questioned by Detective Riley about where she was on Friday night and what her activities were at certain hours. Rachel explains that she worked in the city and then visited her ex-husband, which was a lie, and the detective knew it. Detective Riley then informs her about a missing woman named Megan. Based on Scott's report, Megan didn't come home on Friday night, which was the same time Rachel got off the train. However, Rachel denied all these accusations, and here it was also revealed that Rachel had been fired from her job a year ago due to an alcohol problem. After the police officers left, Kathy asked what Rachel did when she wasn't working. Rachel admitted that she only got on the train drunk, but she didn't really remember what happened during that time. Hearing this, Kathy immediately became fed up with Rachel's behavior and gave her few weeks to leave her house. Suddenly, Rachel remembered that a few days ago, she saw Megan kissing a man who wasn't her husband. She immediately told the detective about this, but the detective didn't believe her story because she thought that Rachel was just a nuisance woman, and she asked Rachel to stay away and stop stalking Tom's family. The scene then cuts to 4 months ago, where we see Megan talking to her therapist. She shared that she likes uncertainty, and that drives her to have relationships with many men. She also added that Scott was a husband who was too jealous that she had to tell him all the passwords she had. Returning to present day, Rachel reads the news, which explains that Megan lost her brother a long time ago, and few years ago both her parents also died. Then she went to see Scott to tell him a little about Megan's disappearance. She lied to Scott by claiming to be Megan's friend, and she told Scott that she had seen Megan on the balcony kissing a guy. When Scott showed Dr. Kamal to her, Rachel confirmed that the man was the one. With this information, Scott tentatively comes to the conclusion that Megan has run away with Dr. Kamal. 2 months ago, after Megan met her boyfriend, she came home and had an argument with Scott. Then she told her therapist that she really couldn't stand Scott's attitude of forcing her to get pregnant. Megan is not ready to be a mother, and this has something to do with her past. On the other hand, Megan shows her interest in Dr. Kamal and started to hug him. However, he emphasized that this was only limited to the relationship between doctor and patient. Back to Rachel. She watches the news where Dr. Kamal was arrested by the police. In this case, Rachel has a goal. Namely, she wants to make sure that Megan is safe, or at least now she has a diversion. Rachel then goes to see Scott, who tells her that the police have released Dr. Kamal due to insufficient evidence. In fact, now the police turn to suspect him after Dr. Kamal told the police about his therapist's session with Megan, which explains Scott's attitude towards Megan. On the way home, Rachel suddenly has a flash of memory which shows that someone hit her that night and she suspects that person was Anna. Rachel tells Tom about this, but he doesn't believe her. After that, Rachel attended a session with therapist Dr. Kamal, hopes to get more information about him. She talked about his drinking habits, which made her often experience blackouts and then wake up early in the morning without remembering anything. She also revealed that she wanted to have baby while she was still with Tom, but all their efforts failed, leaving her depressed. Meanwhile, Anna reported Rachel to the police because she often disturbed her family by constantly sending messages to Tom using an unknown number. However, Detective Riley is unable to help Anna because Rachel's message contains no threats. Instead, she suspects that Tom is deliberately communicating with Rachel, which makes Anna start to doubt her husband's loyalty. After returning home, Anna tried to access Tom's laptop, but failed because the password was locked. Meanwhile, Rachel has a visit from Scott, who wants to stay overnight because he can't stand reporters waiting 24 hours in front of his house. He told Rachel that according to the police, Megan was pregnant. What really disappointed him was why Megan chose to tell her therapist rather than her husband. Scott added that he really wanted to be a father, but Megan was against it all the time and it was always the cause of arguments between the two of them. Then we are taken back to 1 month ago, where we see Megan going to see her therapist at bedtime. Here she revealed that she had a baby when she was 17 years old. One day at a cabin, she had an argument with her boyfriend that made him leave the cabin. Because the air was cold, she decided to soak in the bathtub with the little one she kept in her chest. When she woke up from her sleep, she had accidentally let her go, and because of that incident, her boyfriend also left her. Back to present day, Rachel meets Dr. Kamal to tell about her drunken experiences. At that time, she entered Tom's house and carried the baby out of the house without Anna knowing. She claims she has no evil intentions, but Anna sees her differently. Because of that, she returned the little one to Anna and then ran away from their house. After finishing the therapy session, Rachel read the news which explained that Megan's body had been found, her death caused by blunt force trauma. Meanwhile, Tom noticed that Anna seemed to have lost her enthusiasm for being his wife. Anna admits that she misses the times when she was still Tom's mistress. Anna then accused Tom of having an affair with Rachel, but Tom denied it. Anna couldn't hold back her suspicions, considering that Rachel was a dangerous woman, and she also suspected that Rachel was Megan's killer. When she got home, Rachel found Scott already there waiting for her. He told Rachel that he wasn't the father of Megan's fetus, nor was Dr. Kamal. Unfortunately, he really didn't have a clue if there really was a third person involved. Scott then forces Rachel to admit that she is not Megan's friend. According to Detective Riley, Scott learned that Rachel didn't know Megan at all, and that she was none other than his neighbor Tom's ex-wife. Rachel's lies have angered Scott, and now Detective Riley suspects they are dating. After that, Rachel rushed to the police station to report Scott's attack, but unfortunately, Detective Riley didn't believe her report. She thought that Rachel was a liar because she couldn't give a clear explanation when Megan went missing, even though she was clearly seen at the scene of the crime that night. Hi. Before we continue the story, make sure you have pressed the subscribe button. Thank you. Then we are taken back to Friday, where Megan again feels the pressure of her past after finding out that she is pregnant. She talked about it to Dr. Kamal on the balcony of her house. As soon as they hug, Rachel sees them on the train and she misunderstands it. In the bar, Rachel meets a man she often sees on the train and is convinced that he was in the tunnel that night. The man also admitted that he was there because he lived in that area, so he often passed through the tunnel every day. The man told her that night he tried to help Rachel, who was very drunk, but Rachel threw him away. With the man's confession, Rachel came to believe that she was the suspect the police were looking for. However, because her memory is unclear, she is determined to find out the truth about that night herself. Then she packed her things and left a thank you letter for Kathy, and then got back on the train. There she saw Martha, who reminded her of their fight at the party. She then approached her and apologized, but Martha didn't understand what she was talking about. Martha told her that at that time she only offered her a room to rest because Rachel was very drunk. Here Rachel began to remember what really happened, namely that Tom always lost his temper when Rachel was drunk. Martha also explained that Tom was fired because he couldn't contain himself with the female employees in the office. Meanwhile, Anna found Tom's second cell phone, and there was a history of Tom's contact with other women. On the road, Rachel regains flashes of memories of the night she fainted. After Tom went to sleep, Anna left the house to find out who sent the message to Tom. How shocked she was when she heard Megan on voicemail, making her realize that Tom had been cheating on Megan. Arriving at the tunnel, Rachel could finally remember everything clearly. That night, she sees Megan and tries to follow her into the tunnel. But Megan, who realized this, told Tom, and he immediately approached Rachel and pushed her. The man from the train then comes to help Rachel, but she asks him to leave. The next day, Rachel visits Anna to tell her that Tom has been cheating on Megan. She also claims that Tom is Megan's killer. In the middle of the argument, Tom suddenly came asking Anna to come in when Rachel shouted he closed the door. However, Rachel, not wanting to leave, required Tom to let her in. Rachel asks Tom to confess about what he did to Megan. Anna interrupts to say that she found Tom's contact history with Megan on his cell phone, which explains that the call they received at night was not from Rachel. Tom defended himself by blaming Anna for not having time for him. Rachel secretly tries to contact the police, but Tom quickly stops her. When she discussed again the reason why Tom was fired from his office, Rachel was hit until she fell unconscious. Then we are taken to the day before Megan was declared missing. Tom took Megan to the wood where they met before, but this time Megan just wanted to talk to him. She tells Tom about her pregnancy, and Tom isn't happy to know that. Tom told her to finish it, but Megan refused. When they started fighting, Tom pushed her until she passed out. Then Tom decided to end her there. Returning home, Tom blames everything that happened on Rachel, who always stalks his family. When she tried to run for the door, Tom stopped her. Rachel ran out of the house, but Tom chased her, and he was impaled by the metal Rachel was holding. Anna, who was getting fed up with Tom's behavior, aggravated Tom's injuries, and not long afterward, police officers came to investigate, and Rachel and Anna were arrested in the presence of Scott. After conducting an interrogation, the police officers decided that Tom was to blame for all this, and considered Rachel's actions as a step in self-defense. In the final scene, we see Rachel visiting Megan's grave, and now she's sober. The three of them are now a family, and Rachel continues her hobby as a painter. Then she got back on the train, but this time she chose a different carriage and just looked ahead.